People. Que pasa, suck, say what they do. Welcome to Crime Time News, where the difference is in the meds. Call it news with a buzz. This is not your typical average mama and papa missionary blogging. No, this is blogging that takes you on top of the roof or under the cellar with mother hen and her little chickadees. Now the other day, we heard Judge Sykes saying that he is going to sentence these criminals, 14 or 15 that were convicted in the one-done trial. And we thought that, yes, these people are going to get the full hammer, the full brunt of the law. The judge are going to dash with everybody, dash with the key. Make sure that everybody gets the maximum time allowed under the law. However, people, it seems as if this was a slap in the face to Jamaican people. This was a big joke. As a matter of fact, even one of the co-convicts in the case, his name is Dylan McLean, 27-year-old. He was given 7 years and 3 months. Now, he has been locked up for the better part of maybe about 5 years and a half or so. So, I guess when you add the 7 years and 3 months and the 5 years and 6 months, you're going to get about 12 to 13 or so. But we have to understand this is one of the most notorious gangs in Jamaica. So you would have thought that the system, meaning the judge and everybody, would have sent a strong message to other persons that have aspirations. Don't do it. What makes this troubling is that when this man was sentenced, he said, I am young enough, these shackles and chains cannot hold me because I am young. When the people hear him say that, they were startled and them say, what you just say? Him say it once again. These shackles and chains cannot hold me. I am young enough. Now people, the truth is that this man was on SUICIDAL watch. This man have some sorts of mental issue. However, had he been an average person, you could have interpreted it that this person was saying, alright, me I go to criminal school for about the next 7 years or so. When I get out, I am going to make sure that I get back my reprisal, revenge. So while you got the opportunity, meaning the system, meaning the judge, meaning the DPP and investigator, for lock me away for the rest of my natural life. So this man is pretty much asking, why would you give me a second chance to go back and do the same thing, just be a wiser criminal? I am definitely going to come back and haunt you. Pretty much he was taunting the system, taunting the judge, taunting the prosecutor, and he did not care. Now, will this come back and haunt him? Because like them say, be very careful what you say or do. It could come back and haunt you, especially in the court of law. Because in most of these cases, these people are eligible for parole after a certain time. Hopefully, this statement or this utterance of nonsense, barefacedness, will come back and haunt this man. Now, truth be told, we see that these people, they like to show and prove. They will probably do anything in front of their cronies to appease or make it look like them big, bad and bold. In the case of Andre, we saw that him pretty much a preach. Him get mad out, he almost had an heart attack when he was sentenced. The same thing can apply to these people. They are big and bad. Whenever them dep on the street and them have them tool, them will take with this one, that one, anyone which place or where. However, when them get whole, they are begging for all sorts of lenience. Them want people spare them life. Them want liquor sentence. However, the system appeases them too. Don't understand why, don't know the logics. Now, since that infamous joke of a sentencing, your Commissioner Anthony Anderson has responded, your DPP Paula Llewellyn has also responded. Based on what your commissioner is saying, this proves that no one is above the law. That is true in other places, not in Jamaica. When it comes to the rich, when it comes to the politician, when it comes to people with face card, you can rob just about any amount of money. You can KILL anybody from the lower class as long as you are from the upper class. And we've had several case studies to prove that. So therefore, when this man come out and I say the time where these people get one done gang is sufficient, he is pleased with it. You have to wonder what type of sense these people have. And even worse, as it pertains to your learned DPP Paula Llewellyn, that is. Paula Llewellyn is now calling for amendment for the Anti-Gang Act to give the judges more power. More power on the term of life imprisonment for these gangsters. So in other words, the time that they got, the time that your judge, Mr. Sykes, gave them was not enough. However, he was following the protocol. He was following the sentencing guideline. She even made special reference to Section 10 of said amendment as it pertains to recruitment, knowingly and willingly aiding and abetting a criminal organization. She said that should be changed to the maximum of life imprisonment, with a minimum of about 30 to 40 years or so. Right now, that is at 20 years. It seems as if this is just dawning on your DPP, your commissioner, the DPP's office, because they had a meeting with all of the stakeholders, including the Deputy Commissioner of Popo, Mr. Fitzbailey. And they said they think that this is the appropriate time to make these changes in the best interests of the public. She said that the leaders of these gangs should get no less than probably 30 or 40 years minimum. She said that they should be given a life sentence for their crimes. The leader should get no less than 30 years. The minimum that they should start at is life, which is 25 years. There's none of these charges or counts that Mr. Blackman Brian got that gave him a minimum of 25 years. I think 20 was the most. It was definitely less than 25 years. Now people, here are the facts and why it does not make any sorts of sense. The first anti-gang legislation in Jamaica started in 2014. So when we think about the criminal history of Jamaica as it pertains to gang like Starsky, Sandokan, this one, that one, Dodos, Zeeks, for decades Jamaica has been plague-ridden. One of the most notorious places in the whole wide world upon the globe with gangster. We just got our first anti-gang legislation in 2014, less than a decade ago. When we think about the last amendment was made in 2021, people, this is after all of these gangsters were locked up, based on my knowledge, based on the fact that they were given credit for 5 years and I think 5 months or at least 6 months. It tells me that they were locked up way before this. However, all of these genius, meaning security minister, meaning commissioner, meaning DPP, meaning deputy commissioner, when they amended that anti-gang act back in 2021, they made changes adding different counts. However, they did not make the sentencing higher. It did not dawn on any one of these educated fools that listen. Maybe we should amend that part. That is a very significant part. I'm just saying, logics would tell us that maybe this would send a clear message to these criminals and aspiring criminals that listen. If you want to join gang, if you want to take away people, if you want to take order, if you want to extort people to any sorts of criminal acts, you are going to get the full brunt of the law. You are going to get a life sentence. You are not going to get a slap on the wrist. Maybe it would be some sorts of deterrent for the aspiring criminals out there and the ones that are in the grasp of the government, as in the one done. They would make sure that they have this amended to make sure that they get the maximum time allowed. So throughout all of these 5 years or years when these criminal suspect convicts were locked up, it did not dawn on Paula Llewellyn, the commissioner, the DPP's office, all of our enforcement team, that maybe we should change it. Now that we have them, we should change it. Maybe it would not be retroactive, so it may not make any sorts of sense, since they were locked up before them get any sorts of common sense, meaning the DPP office and your Security and Justice Minister, Commissioner Rete Lele Blue Blah Blank. So the facts are these, and this is based on the DPP's word. The lawyer, or the judge, Judge Sykes, his hands were pretty much tied behind him. He was limited to what he could do. So when we think about the fact that between all of these great minds, law enforcement experts, this flew over everybody's head, it did not dawn on any one of them that listen. We should have made this amendment before we arrested these people, or even if we could, while they were in custody. So what this shows you is a short-sightedness and lack of vision, or even worse, lack of common sense of these persons that are supposed to keeping us safe and secure from these criminal elements. We have to ask the question, what is their ulterior motive? Is their motive when they make these laws and legislation the best interests of the public, as in you and I, or is it in the best interests of these criminal organization gangsters? Because to me, the only type of rationale this shows is that this is politics and corruption. It is almost as if they are putting these rules into play to cushion or lessen the sentence of these gangsters. So pretty much it seems as if the gang culture and the political culture are intertwining. It is one hand washing the other. So if you help these politicians to win in these elections, as any sorts of gangster or gang member are done, so it almost seems as if this is some sorts of reinsurance from the lawmakers, from these politicians, just in case these criminals or dons, gangsters get convicted. We're going to make sure that when you get your sentence, it is not too hard. The judge's hands is going to be tied behind him. You will get some sorts of lenient sentencing. Because based on what we saw transparent in the courts, that makes no sorts of sense, none at all. It is the only rational thinking. It seems as if now that there is public pressure, now that there are external eyes looking at Jamaica and realize, Jamaica is one of the most corrupted places per Master God earth. They are now making these amendments, making these changes after the horse run out and dip on the track and a gallivant already. When it is too late is the call. You had the opportunity to make sure say you send with these people for life. But because of some sorts of mumbo jumbo as it pertains to amendment, these people are slipping through the crack. These people are getting some sort of slap on them wrist. Because you and I, any rational thinking Jamaican, would have thought that with all of the money that they spent, with all of the effort, with all of these people, including the witness that put their lives and the lives of their family on the line, this definitely proves to any well-thinking Jamaican that this is a slap on the wrist for these criminals, and this is a slap in the face of Jamaican people, because there is no sort of rationale that can explain how is it that one of the most lawless countries in the whole entire world have some of the most lenient sentences. People, I am no sort of crime fighting expert. However, I have common sense and logics tell me that this makes no sorts of sense. This is psychs. This is disrespect in the face of well-thinking people. People, Jamaica gone to the dogs. Thanks to your leaders, thanks to your DPP, thanks to your lawmakers. Point blank and period. So anyways people, thanks once again for checking out my video. If you appreciate videos like this, please show your appreciation by liking, commenting, sharing and subscribing to my channel. That is how YouTube promotes videos like these to like-minded, sensible persons like yourself. And last but not least, please subscribe to my next channel. It is called Jamaica Dancehall Source. I'll be pinning the link to that channel in the description of this video. Bless up.